Sometimes life feels like a storm that doesn't let up. Everything seems messy, out of place, and no matter how much you try to control every detail, the calm never comes. You get up every morning hoping that today everything will fall into place, but deep down you feel that invisible weight that doesn't let you breathe peacefully. It's like that woman who wakes up before dawn, reviews her mental to-do list, and feels like the day has already exhausted her before it even starts. She organizes everything, the bills, the food, work, the messages, believing that if nothing escapes her, she can avoid chaos. But what she doesn't see is that this eagerness to have everything under control isn't giving her peace, it's wearing her out. Because that need to have all the answers isn't strength, it's fear. Fear that if she lets go a little, everything will fall apart, and without realizing it, she moves further and further away from what she really needs, to breathe, to trust, and to allow herself to live. Today I want you to open your heart and listen to this with total clarity. What you long for is not far away, it's waiting on the other side of your need to control. Life doesn't begin to flow when you make more effort, but when you let go of the internal struggle, when you stop fighting with the inevitable, when you understand that you can't keep clinging to every detail as if your peace depended on it. It's like someone trying to hold sand in their hand. The more you squeeze, the faster it slips away. And the same thing happens with life. What you try to control with fear escapes you. But when you let go, when you trust, the sand settles gently and stays. Life begins to get in order when you stop resisting and decide to trust. Because true well-being is not born from having everything figured out. It is born from feeling at peace. Even when you don't have all the answers, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not easy to let go. It's not simple to stop thinking about everything that could go wrong. But the moment you allow yourself to release that weight, even just a little, everything begins to change. It's as if life is breathing with you, as if it were saying, finally you're leaving room for me to act. Because worry is a trap. It makes us feel like we're doing something useful, when in reality it only wears us down. We tell ourselves, if I worry enough, I can prevent something bad from happening. If I analyze every possibility, I'll be more prepared. But the truth is that worry doesn't prevent pain, it anticipates it, and in that attempt to control the uncontrollable, we miss the peace of the present. It's like walking with a backpack full of stones, thinking that this way we'll be ready for everything. But those stones don't protect us, they only hold us back. But the reality is very different from what fear tells you. Worry solves nothing. It doesn't prevent, it doesn't protect, it only paralyzes you. It's like being trapped in a wheel that spins and spins without moving forward. Your mind repeats the same thoughts over and over again, like an echo that won't stop. And in the meantime, your body feels it, the knot in your stomach, the tension in your shoulders, the insomnia that won't let go, all that wear and tear, and not a single real solution, just exhaustion, just more confusion. And then you ask yourself, what am I solving by worrying so much? And the answer is harsh but liberating: nothing. How many times have you lived through storms in your mind that never came to be? You anticipated the worst, you suffered in advance, you imagined scenarios that never became real, and yet you're still clinging to worry as if it were a form of protection, as if thinking about everything bad could give you control, as if anticipating pain were a way to avoid it. But it's not like that. Worry doesn't take care of you, it consumes you. It doesn't protect you. It locks you in an invisible cage where fear dictates every move. And the hardest part is that you get used to it. You get used to stress, to the knot in your chest, to living in alert mode, and you forget what it felt like to be at peace. The mind has incredible power, but also a treacherous side. It doesn't distinguish between what is real and what you are only imagining. So when you sink into negative thoughts, your body doesn't wait to check if it's true, it simply reacts. Your heart beats faster. Your breathing becomes short, your stomach clenches, anxiety takes control, as if you were in the middle of an emergency, when in reality everything is happening only in your head. There you are, living battles that don't yet exist, fighting with ghosts of the future, and all for what? How much have you gained from so much anticipated fear? How many times did you worry, only to realize later that none of that happened? The emotional cost of living from worry is too high, and the worst thing is that it never brings the peace you are looking for, only more reasons to fear. Behind every worry there is a hidden fear. You don't get distressed about money just because you do it, because deep down you believe that it will never be enough, that if you stop controlling it, it will run out, that something will fail when you become obsessed. With love, it's not love, it's fear of losing it, fear that it will escape, that you won't be chosen, that you'll be left alone. And if the future scares you, it's not because of what's to come, it's because in some corner of you, you believe that something bad is about to happen, and that keeps you on alert, waiting for the blow, even when everything is fine. Every worry is a reflection of a lack of trust in yourself, in life, in things being able to turn out well, even without having everything under control. And here is the truth that many avoid looking at. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you believe. You can long for peace, love, abundance. But if inside you repeat that everything is difficult, life will confirm it to you again and again. If you convince yourself that nothing goes right for you, no matter how much you try, you will attract more trials, more stumbles, more blockages, because the universe does not respond to your words. It responds to your energy. And if your energy is full of fear, anxiety, distrust, what comes to you will reflect exactly that. More reasons to fear, more things to worry about, more signs that something is wrong. It's as if your interior were an antenna, and you could only tune into the frequency you are vibrating on. You can't hear the music of calm if you're emitting the signal of chaos, but here comes the light among so many shadows. You can change that frequency. It's not about forcing yourself to think positively while everything hurts inside. It's about something deeper, about transforming your internal vibration. When you choose to trust, even if you don't yet see the result, when you let go of what is not up to you, when you stop focusing on what you lack and begin to nurture what you can transform, something magical happens. Your energy changes, and when your energy changes, life does too. Not suddenly, not with fireworks, but with subtle signs, with new opportunities, with people who arrive, with doors you didn't see before, because everything starts within you. And when you align yourself with peace instead of fear, reality reorders itself to reflect that peace. Life doesn't align when you force it, it aligns when you trust, when you stop running after everything, and simply allow yourself to flow. When instead of worrying about what isn't coming, you breathe deeply and remember, everything has its moment. Everything arrives when you are ready to receive it. The key is not to try harder or to live in fear that something will escape you. It's about vibrating in tune with what you want to attract. If you long for abundance, you can't keep thinking from scarcity. You can't look at your bank account and vibrate in lack, hoping for miracles. Abundance manifests when you feel deserving, even before it arrives. If you are looking for love, you cannot live from the fear of being abandoned. You can't cling to someone out of fear of loneliness and expect that bond to flourish. Love arrives when you recognize yourself as complete and no longer need someone to fill you. And if you want peace, you must stop wanting to have everything under control. Peace is born when you accept that you cannot foresee every step, but you can choose how to walk it. It's not magic, it's not luck, it's energy, and you are emitting it at all times, even without realizing it. Life doesn't stop. It's in constant motion, even if you don't see it sometimes. And in the midst of that movement, you have two options: resist or flow, cling with fear or open yourself with trust. Because when you let go of control, the rhythm changes and suddenly what seemed stuck begins to move in your favor. Think of it this way. Claudia had been looking for a partner for years. She read about relationships, analyzed every date, made mental lists of what she wanted and what she didn't. And the more she tried to make it work, the more frustrated she got, until one day, tired of the disappointment, she focused on herself. She began to do things that made her happy. She reconnected with her body, with her energy, with her peace. And it was right in that state, when she was no longer looking from a place of lack, that someone special appeared without warning, without effort. And there she understood. It wasn't magic, it was vibration. The same thing happens with money, with opportunities, with emotional health. When you stop chasing with anxiety and start acting from a place of fullness, things come to you as if they had always been waiting for you to be ready. Because it is not the desire that attracts, it is the energy from which you desire it. Anxiety and the need for control are like closed doors that you yourself keep blocked. You can have the purest desire in the world, but if you are clinging to the how, the when, and the with whom, without realizing it, you are preventing it from manifesting. It's like wanting a seed to sprout while you're digging it up every day to see if it has already sprouted. The excess of control suffocates, and what you so desire, instead of getting closer, moves away. It happens with everything in life. When you cling to something having to happen exactly as you imagined it, you don't leave room for life to surprise you with something even better. It's like that person who insists on getting that specific job, that ideal partner, that planned path, and in their obsession they don't see the doors that are already opening right next to them. Insistence blinds, openness illuminates. Sometimes what you are waiting for is already on its way, but worry delays it, because it is not about squeezing tighter, it is about letting go with faith. Louise Hay said something so simple and so powerful. Life always wants to see you do well. Life is in your favor, looking to open paths for you, give you answers, show you possibilities, but many times it is you who, without wanting to, puts up walls with your doubts, your fears, your limiting beliefs, with that little voice inside that says, "It's not for me, I'm not enough. That happens to others, not to me." And here a crucial question appears: how to stop resisting and start receiving. The first step is not to do more, it is to think differently. Because life does not give you what you desire on the surface, it gives you what you believe deep down you deserve. It's not about how much you long for it, but about how much you see it as possible for you. If you ask for love, but inside you feel that you are not worthy of it, you push it away. If you dream of abundance, but your energy screams scarcity, it doesn't arrive. If you want peace, but your mind is at war, you cannot sustain it. Changing your mindset is the bridge, the point where you go from lack to openness, from desire to true availability to receive. Everything you believe you project, and everything you project comes back to you. If there is a story inside you that says that love always hurts, you will continue to attract relationships that confirm that narrative. If you believe that money is scarce, you will live by measuring every penny, feeling that it is never enough. And if you are convinced that life is a constant battle, then there will always be something to fight against. You don't attract what you desire from the heart, you attract what your mind believes is possible, and that is often what is limiting you now. Imagine this: the opportunity you have dreamed of is presented right in front of you. Healthy, free, deep love, the project that could transform your life, the abundance that finally knocks on your door. And ask yourself with sincerity, do I really feel ready to receive it, or would I sabotage it with doubts, with excuses, with fear of it not lasting, because it is not enough for it to arrive. You have to feel worthy of sustaining it. And many times it is not that life has not given you what you asked for, it is that you still did not believe that you could have it. The hardest and most liberating truth is this: many times it is not life that says no, it is yourself. With every thought you repeat without questioning, with every phrase you throw into the air as if it were an absolute truth, I'm not enough, that's not for me, it's always harder for me than for others. And without realizing it, those words become orders for your energy. It's as if you were writing the script of your life, but from a place of scarcity, from insecurity, from a wound. Now imagine this. You have a friend who every time you share a dream responds, "I don't think you can. That's for lucky people, not for you. You'd better not try." Are you going to be disappointed? Would you put up with it? Would you keep them close? Surely not. You would set limits or move away. But what happens when that voice comes from within? When you yourself repeat those phrases every day in front of the mirror in silence, without questioning them, that's when you realize that you don't need external enemies, because sometimes without wanting to, you yourself have become the biggest obstacle between what you dream and what you live. Your mind listens and obeys. What you repeat frequently becomes an energetic order that guides your reality, and there is the true power. You can choose what story to tell. If instead of saying "I'm not enough," you begin to say with conviction, "I deserve the best," something inside you changes. Not just your thoughts, but also your posture, your energy, your way of looking at the world. If you stop thinking everything is difficult for me and choose to affirm, "Life flows in my favor," you begin to see paths where you previously only saw obstacles. And if you transform that old pain of love always hurting me into "I attract healthy, conscious, and loving relationships," the doors open because you stop vibrating from the wound and begin to vibrate from healing. This is not just thinking pretty. It is rewriting your internal code. It is teaching your mind to stop defending your limits and start expanding your possibilities. Everything changes when you change the message. When the certainty that you do deserve it appears within you, something is activated. You no longer accept crumbs. You no longer settle for the minimum. You begin to choose from a place of self-love, not from lack. When you trust that it is possible for you, your decisions change. You become braver, more selective, more coherent. You stop saying "I hope" and start acting as if it were already on its way. And when you really feel that life has your back, everything falls into place. Not because it's magic, but because your energy stops blocking what is already available to you. That is mental reprogramming, not changing the external world, but changing how you perceive it, because everything you experience is a reflection of how you see yourself, of what you believe is possible, of what you allow yourself to receive. And this is where the step we often avoid comes in. Letting go of fear, trusting the process, stopping living from insecurity, that silent voice that whispers, "I'm not capable," and what if it doesn't work? What if I'm wrong again? Insecurity is not born because something is impossible. It is born because you forgot who you are and everything you deserve. Insecurity doesn't always scream. Sometimes it's disguised as control, as a need to keep everything under surveillance, as anxiety to foresee every move. If you feel you need to check your partner's phone, it's not love, it's fear. Fear that something will break. Fear of not being enough. Fear of being betrayed. You don't control because of distrust towards the other, but because of the wound that doesn't allow you to feel secure in what you have. If every time you spend money you feel guilt or anguish, it's not prudence, it's fear of scarcity. It's the belief that if you give, it never comes back. And so, without wanting to, you block the flow of abundance that you so desire. And if you stay in a situation that no longer nourishes you, that turns you off or hurts you, it's not because you don't know you deserve something better. It's because a part of you fears that the best will never come, and so you prefer the known even if it hurts. When you live from the need to control, you are not living from power, you are living from fear, and fear blocks everything. It blocks love, peace, opportunities, intuition. Controlling is surviving, trusting is living. Letting go of control is not giving up, it's not folding your arms or abandoning your dreams. Letting go is not passivity, it is active trust. It means that you do your part, but you stop living with anguish about what you cannot force. It is to plant with intention and allow life to do its thing. Think of a seed. You plant it in the ground, you cover it, you water it, but you don't dig it up every day to see if it has sprouted, because you know there is an invisible process happening under the surface. You know that the sun, water, and time will do their work. And in the meantime you wait with patience, with care, with faith. This is also how it is with your dreams. They don't blossom when you pressure them. They blossom when you nurture them, release them, and trust in the perfect time. Letting go of control is not giving up what you want. It is stopping sabotaging it with anxiety. When you feel that you have lost your peace, pause, close your eyes and ask yourself honestly, what am I desperately trying to control? Perhaps it's a conversation that didn't go the way you wanted, a future that has not yet arrived, a person you can't change, a result you're obsessed with, and now look deeper. Does that thing that keeps you up at night really depend on you, or are you just wearing yourself out with thoughts that don't lead anywhere? There are battles that are not won with more effort, but with more trust, with the humility to say, I did my part, now I let go. What would happen if you stopped tightening every detail and trusted that even if you don't see it yet, life is already working on what you need? It's not about giving up. It's about stopping fighting with what you can't control and opening up space for answers to arrive without so much noise. From now on, every time you feel that urge to control, to tighten, to anticipate everything, stop for a moment. Place a hand over your chest. Breathe and repeat to yourself with intention, I do my part with love, and I trust that the rest will fall into place at the perfect time. It's not just a pretty phrase, it's a way of reminding your mind that you no longer need to live on alert. It is an act of reprogramming, a seed that, if you water it every day, transforms the way you inhabit life. When you get carried away by desperation, it is easy to act without thinking, to make decisions from a place of emptiness, just to calm the fear for a moment, and then the result, it weighs more on you than the original problem. When you vibrate with anxiety, not only do you feel it, but everything around you becomes tense. The conversations, your relationships, your body, everything contracts. And the worst part is that you end up feeling trapped in a world that you yourself are building from fear. And when fear takes the helm, it paralyzes you, it blocks you, it clouds your vision, and without realizing it, you sabotage yourself. Not because you're not capable, but because you're not breathing from a place of trust. But when you make a subtle change, when you choose to believe that not everything depends on you, when you let go of the urgency and allow life to show you its rhythm, something changes. You start to feel supported. The answers arrive as if they had always been there. Opportunities appear without you having to chase them, because you are no longer blocking them with your resistance. When you trust, life cooperates. I want to propose something different. The next time you feel anxiety, don't run from it. Stop, take a deep breath, close your eyes and silently name what is troubling you. And then imagine for a moment how you would act if you knew for sure that everything was going to be fine. What gesture would you make differently? How would your breathing, your posture, your gaze change? Make that change now, even if it's small. Straighten your back, relax your jaw, loosen your hands, and in your mind, repeat slowly, I trust, I let go, I allow. You don't need to understand the how, you just need to be available to receive. This simple gesture made with presence is a powerful way to train your mind to stop resisting and start living in coherence with the life you deserve. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you stopped fighting with what you can't control. Yes, instead of resisting, you surrender with confidence to the rhythm of life, not as someone who gives up, but as someone who finally aligns. What would happen if you let go of that need to have all the answers? If you stopped demanding that life show you everything now and started trusting that what you don't yet see is already on its way, when you really manage to let go, not everything changes immediately, but something inside you calms down, and that's where the magic begins. The signs appear in the everyday: an unexpected conversation that gives you clarity, an opportunity that arises without looking for it, a message that arrives just when you needed it most. Life begins to respond because you stopped blocking it. You don't need to force what is destined, you just need to learn to allow it. Louise Hay said it with a wisdom that is felt in the soul. When you stop trying to control every detail, life begins to flow smoothly. It's as if the universe, upon noticing your inner surrender, said, "Now I can help you." And then what you previously felt was stuck begins to move without a fight, without wear and tear. You no longer have to chase opportunities, they appear on their own. The right people arrive just when you need them, without you having to go look for them. And doors that previously seemed closed simply open, not because you did more, but because you stopped forcing. It is the energy of peace and acceptance that opens paths. When you stop pushing with anxiety, you allow things to find their own order. That's where silent miracles happen. That project that you gave up for lost, it begins to take shape. That relationship that seemed broken finds a new way of connecting. That part of you that was tired begins to rest, because life always wanted to help you. It just needed you to stop getting in the way. When you let go of worry and fear, your energy changes, and when your energy changes, your field of attraction changes. You no longer emit from a place of lack, you emit from a place of fullness, and that turns you into a magnet for everything that previously seemed distant. You no longer have to push for things to happen. You begin to receive without resistance, not because everything is perfect, but because you are finally in tune with what you truly desire. I remember the case of Laura, a woman who had spent months stressed about not finding a job. She got up every day checking portals, sending resumes, feeling that nothing was working, until one day, exhausted, she decided to stop. She focused on reconnecting with herself, on taking care of her energy, on letting go of control. She stopped looking from a place of desperation, and a few days later, an old colleague wrote to her with an unexpected proposal. It wasn't magic, it was alignment. And the most beautiful thing is that this not only happens with big changes, you also see it in the subtle things. A message that comes to you when you need it most, an object that you thought was lost and appears right in front of you, or that feeling that without knowing how, everything is flowing more lightly. That is what happens when you stop fighting against life and begin to walk with it. The universe does not respond to your words, it responds to the vibration you emit, and when your energy stops being based on fear and begins to be rooted in trust, the answers arrive not always as you expected, but as you need them. Sometimes in the form of opportunities, other times in the form of liberation, because life is not a battle you have to win, it is a dance, an infinite space of possibilities that is activated when you open yourself up to receive. And even if today you don't understand the reason for everything, the moment will come when everything fits together. Look back for a moment. Do you remember that door that closed? That relationship that didn't prosper? That job that seemed like the end of your plans? Now you know that it wasn't a punishment. It was redirection. It was the universe leading you with firmness and love towards something much better. because what you see today as an obstacle, tomorrow can be the bridge to your greatest expansion. Have you noticed how there are people who seem to be in the right place at the right time, who without forcing it attract opportunities, connections, blessings? It's not luck, it's energy. It is trust in motion. When you trust in yourself and in the process of life, something opens up. The energy you emit becomes magnetic and life responds. But when you live from doubt, from constant uncertainty, what you project is blockage. And the universe, which can only give you back what you offer, reflects more of the same, more obstacles, more delays, more confusion. One of the most profound changes you can make is not outside. It is in how you choose to live inside. Receptivity instead of resistance. The resistance says, what if it doesn't happen? What if it's not for me? The receptivity whispers, I am ready to receive everything that is aligned with my well-being. And in that change of attitude, everything is transformed, because you stop fighting with life and begin to walk with it. One of the most profound changes you can make in your life has nothing to do with doing more. It has to do with how you choose to feel while you live. When you go from resistance to receptivity, everything begins to transform. Resistance makes you want to control, hold on, force. Receptivity, on the other hand, teaches you to trust, to allow, to flow, and many times that resistance manifests itself in the form of attachments to people, to situations, to plans that have already run their course. We cling out of fear, fear of the unknown, fear of being left empty, fear of not feeling safe again, but clinging to what no longer vibrates with you does not protect you, it holds you back, and the more you resist change, the further you move away from the evolution that life wants to give you. Think for a moment, how many times has something that initially hurt ended up being a blessing in disguise? Maybe that relationship that broke was the path that led you to find yourself. Perhaps that no that so frustrated you was what pushed you towards a much more authentic direction, or that fall that you thought you would not overcome was what gave you the strength to become who you are today. None of that would have been possible if you hadn't let go, because when you let go, you don't lose, you free yourself. And by freeing yourself, you make space for everything you truly deserve. So if today you feel that something inside you is ready to let go, do it with love, not from the fear of losing, but from the confidence that something much better is on its way. Because when you stop clinging, when you choose to flow, life surprises you in ways you never imagined. Trust, let go, and allow everything that is for you to find you. And if this message resonated with you, I would love to read you in the comments. Tell me what you are ready to let go of today and what you are willing to receive in return. The practice of surrender and the power of inner dialogue. You've understood the concept of letting go, but how do you do it in the daily grind? It's not a single act, but a conscious practice, a moment-to-moment choice. Think of it as a muscle you strengthen over time. Each time a worry tries to take hold, you make a conscious decision to release it. This practice begins with your inner dialogue. Your mind is a garden, and every thought is a seed. For too long you've allowed the seeds of fear and doubt to be planted and grow into a dense, suffocating jungle. The work now is to become the gardener, to choose which seeds you will water. When a thought like, I'm not going to get this job appears, you don't fight it. Instead, you gently acknowledge it and then replace it with a new truth. I've done my part, and I trust that the right opportunity is on its way. This isn't about ignoring reality. It's about not allowing a negative fantasy to become your emotional reality. This shift in your inner world creates a ripple effect. When you speak to yourself with kindness and confidence, your actions follow suit. You stop acting from a place of scarcity and start moving from a place of abundance. The person who believes they won't find love behaves differently than the one who believes they are worthy of it. The former clings, pushes, and accepts less than they deserve. The latter is patient, open, and has a quiet certainty that what is meant for them will not pass them by. This is the essence of aligning your energy. Your vibration is the silent language of your soul, and the universe is constantly listening and responding. When you choose to speak a language of trust, your life begins to reflect that harmony. The wisdom of pause and the unseen path. In a world that constantly glorifies hustle and busyness, the act of pausing is revolutionary. We are conditioned to believe that more effort equals more results. But the truth is, many of the most significant shifts in our lives happen in the space of stillness. When you are rushing and forcing, you are so focused on a single outcome that you become blind to all other possibilities. You're trying to push open a door that may be locked while a window right next to you is wide open. A pause allows you to step back, take a breath, and see the full picture. It's in this space that your intuition, your inner compass, can finally be heard above the noise of anxiety and worry. Remember that everything has its own timing. A seed does not become a tree overnight. It follows a precise, unhurried process. Your life is no different. The job, the relationship, the healing you are waiting for, it is unfolding on an unseen path. Your anxiety about the how and when is only creating friction and slowing the process down. By trusting in the timing of your life, you free yourself from the tyranny of external deadlines and expectations. This is not about being passive. It's about being present. It's about doing your best in this moment and trusting that the next moment will reveal itself when it's meant to. This quiet confidence is the most powerful force you can cultivate. The freedom of acceptance and the abundance in everything. Acceptance is not resignation. It is a profound act of liberation. It means accepting what is without judgment or resistance so that you can move forward with clarity. When you accept the present moment, you are no longer fighting with reality. This allows you to redirect all the energy you were spending on resistance and instead use it to create something new. Imagine the immense freedom that comes from knowing that you don't have to control everything, that you can simply show up, give your best, and trust that the universe is conspiring in your favor. This trust is what unlocks the flow of abundance. Abundance isn't just about money, it's about a richness in all areas of your life: love, joy, creativity, and opportunities. You are not attracting something from a place of lack, but from a place of fullness. You are not pushing to get, you are opening to receive. The life you desire is not something you have to hunt down. It is something that finds you when you are in alignment. This profound shift from I need to get to I am ready to receive is the key that opens the door to everything you have ever wanted. It all comes back to a single, essential truth. The world outside you is a reflection of the world within you. Your peace, your success, your fulfillment. It all begins with the simple yet powerful choice to let go and trust. So, what story will you choose to tell yourself today?